Welcome back to Transfer Talk. It's still here, contrary to popular belief. And look who's back this week. It's Zachary Jalal.
Hey,
how are you?
Every week, just someone comes back. Why does your voice go so high when you intro Transfer Talk?
Because it's a game show. We're doing it. We do things a little bit differently here.
I
Transfer
like
Talk.
it.
As you can see, we've got the rumour mill where we try and debunk some of the worst transfer and best transfer pieces of gossip that are out there right now. You should all know how it works by now. Love it, hate it, clickbait, nailed on. It's an incredibly scientific graph. Okay, so yeah, easy for you to get your head around.
It was our brainchild, wasn't it? And
It
it's
was
come
our
out very
brainchild.
well. It's come out very well.
Yeah, so yeah, keep
thank
making
you
us know.
guys for enjoying it.
Absolutely. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Anyway, to business.
Yes.
We've got to adjust the board as we see it now. First bits of order. David Raya. Gone. Mohamed Kudus. Gone as well.
But saying hello to Brighton.
Yes, gone to Brighton. And then we're left with the board as we see it. There are a few things we can do. Conor Gallagher, you were saying, you think that he's too good mates with Pochettino to leave at this
So
point.
obviously, I've seen a lot of stories about how, Conor's being shipped off to here, there and everywhere. And from pre-season, and obviously that's where I was, the Chelsea pre-season.
Were you?
If you didn't know. My Instagram was all about that. It felt like he had a very strong connection there and seemed like he is one of the few senior players left in that side. And my personal opinion, obviously this isn't from reports and stuff like that, is this is more like a over here kind of story at the moment. Though I do actually like the move if he was to go there. So I put it here though to keep the kind of same that was spoken about last time. But yeah, I think that's more over here at the moment. If Chelsea, especially with obviously Nkunku getting injured as well after 3 months, if Chelsea go and sign some more fit midfielders, maybe it becomes over this side. But for now, I think it's there.
There's a lot of news that's happened this week in regards to a lot of these players. We'll leave Lukaku there for now, but then we'll come up here. Elise, what do you reckon?
So obviously they still need a winger that plays off of that right, but Elise's injury is still there. I think I'm kind of happy to, there's obviously not been an update in the story. Yeah. So I think I'm happy to leave it there, but maybe next week when we come back, that could be moving that side or that side.
Yeah, we'll leave it there for now.
Fine.
Amrabat, though, talk this week that West Ham have bid for McTominay again. They went in for that double bid with Maguire, which we'll get on to. Yeah. That makes the Amrabat to United move look a bit more likely because they've said they're open to the move, potentially, this according to reports, but only if they can get a replacement. And therefore, I do think that Amrabat could be the man.
It goes a bit more to nailed on, yeah, for sure. We'll see. I think if they get that money for Scott McTominay, which is reportedly about 40 million they want, goes onto the Amrabat deal, which makes a lot more sense.
Big Scott indeed. Maguire, now, big news. West Ham do want him, looking to make a flurry of signings this week after Edson Alvarez getting over the line. Do you think Maguire's moving up? Are we getting it more into the nailed-on section?
Maguire is, look, the money they're asking for him might be a bit of an issue, but I think we'll put him there, mainly because space over there is a bit of an issue. However, we might be moving some
yes, we could be, yeah. So we're getting a bit bunched on this side of the board. All right, Kyle Walker. We've seen that Man City have gone in for a new deal for him. Yeah. Improved odds like with Bernardo Silva. I think it makes it move down towards clickbait.
There was also the picture as well of him having dinner with Pep Guardiola too. Or you think more to the right?
Stick him underneath Maguire.
Okay.
Stick him underneath Maguire. There we go.
We'll put him there.
Because I actually want him to go to Bayern Munich. So let's just leave it
we'll
there.
appease you there too. But I do think I'm more likelihood that he's going to be staying at Manchester City. I think that is, unless they get a replacement in or a guy that's going to be, obviously they've got Gavardio who'll be playing on the left. They do need to probably still keep a bit of experience there.
I agree with you. Lavia will leave here. Liverpool got rejected with another bid reportedly.
They're just going to match it, aren't they?
They're going to get there. They're going to pay the money, so
exactly.
he's staying there. Harry Kane, though, this was the big deal that Tottenham have rejected that offer, but they're still in talks, and he's not playing in a pre-season friendly against Barcelona right now. His wife is about to give birth, so that is something to factor in too. He wants his future sorted this week. Wow, you're going that far, are you?
I just think, look, Bayern Munich have been quite open and saying, like, Daniel Levy wants over £100 million for him. And Bayern have kind of been quite open and said, we're not going above this offer. This is the final offer. And I think, look, if Bayern did go over this offer, it's just very silly. It's very silly, in my opinion. You can spend that money, or you could spend 60% of that money and get somebody that's probably going to score you 20 goals that season, which is what you need up top. Harry Kane was obviously perfect for it, but you can do it for less.
It did look, when he came off after that 4-goal haul against Shakhtar, that he was almost saying goodbye to the crowd.
It did.
Quite a nice way
but he's
to
done
go.
that every season for the past 5 years.
He has done that, that is true. You're right. I think with days ticking down for his own personal deadline, which I completely understand, I think this could be more on this side of the board. So big mover there. But anyway, that's how we've adjusted the board so far. Let's get into the first few pieces of gossip from this week. And we're starting with Dean Henderson.
Yeah.
So this comes in from, Sky Sports. That apparently Nottingham Forest, they've obviously gone and signed Matt Turner, or at least in the process of doing that. And they want Dean Henderson as well. There are reports that they were going to go for one or the other. They desperately need some keepers through the door because there are two keepers from last season, Keylor Navas, no longer there too. Do you think this move is getting done this week? Dean Henderson to Nottingham Forest?
I think over the next 7 days, by the time we come back to this, we might see Dean Henderson in a Nottingham Forest shirt. Obviously, said Matt Turner's done. Fine. I'm sure they're okay with that. But he has really no experience. He's got experience sitting on the bench, and I'm sure if they get in a Dean Henderson, he can use that experience by sitting on the bench again for Nottingham Forest. Look, I think if I went to you right now, Henry, do you want Dean Henderson or do you want Matt Turner?
Dean
Henderson. It's going to be Dean Henderson. However, at this point of time, this deal is taking a little while. Yeah. Obviously, there's been the whole Onana situation and Man United's who's going to be in goal for them. Obviously, they've now sorted that, and so they can look towards making some money for Dean Henderson. But before that, if anything had happened and say this deal doesn't happen, they weren't going to have a quality goalkeeper in goal for this season. Getting Matt Turner on the line makes sense.
Out of interest, do you think they could have done better? Because his save rate last season was down at 65.9%. Eurosport Denmark, which, reputable stuff, they've claimed that they're in for Kasper Schmeichel, potentially, looking to maybe bring him back from Nice. If you were looking, I know a bit older on the spectrum, a lot more longevity. If you were looking at Schmeichel or Dean Henderson at this point, who would you be more interested in?
Dean Henderson. One, there is the age, and also Schmeichel's last year for Leicester in the Premier League was bad. Yeah. It was really bad. I mean, maybe it wasn't so bad that they ended up with the keeper that they had last year.
Pretty good last year for Nice.
But he fell out, and also I remember fans not liking him too. But the other thing more so is actually Leicester last year could have probably still done with Kasper Schmeichel in goal, considering who they had in the net.
Yeah. Big
blunders. But in terms of age profile, in terms of look, Forest want to stay in this Premier League, and Dean Henderson Schmeichel is on the decline, whereas Henderson could very much be on the incline by getting him in. So I think Henderson is a good move, and feels quite nailed on.
So we'd have Schmeichel around here, but we're leaving Dean Henderson pretty much in the nailed on, love it.
Exactly.
Middle ground.
Exactly.
I think that's completely...
Nottingham Forest fans, I think, will be very appreciative of that move.
Completely agree. That's fair enough. All right, another one. Really interesting piece of news here coming from the Daily Echo, and that's that West Ham have approached Dominic Solanke as a potential striker. Now, I would say right now, Dominic Solanke's value has probably never been higher, in my opinion.
No.
In terms of the way his career's gone, broke through, had a bit of a difficult time. But then last year, he only got 6 goals, but did get 7 assists. He was still their top scorer, and 44 goals in the Championship in the 2 years prior to that. So he is banging form at the moment, and he's still only 25.
From a West Ham point of view, I love this move. Honestly, I love it.
Yeah, I do. Me too.
And I think Dominic Solanke is probably himself here as well. Look, right now, obviously, Bournemouth have an exciting manager in charge. They've had a lot of money kind of invested into the club. However, do we see Bournemouth kind of doing better than West Ham this season if they're able to spend the rest of their money well?
Yeah.
I think in an ideal world, after the amount of money they've received, and I know they're only just about looking like they're spending it, in an ideal world, you'd assume that West Ham would be finishing above Bournemouth still this season. The Bournemouth train is very slowly building at the moment over the next couple of years.
Choo-choo.
And so I feel like for his career,
get it on the board.
He has to kind of go... I'm kind of bang in the middle. Middle. Like, here is where I am.
Zach, coming on the show and overlapping the magnets. I see how it's going. I personally, Zach, do not think that Bournemouth is selling. I don't think they have to.
This is why I'm more close. This is why I'm closer to here. They don't have to, and they would be asking for a lot of money for him. They know West Ham have money, but West Ham need a striker.
They do need a striker, but they also have a history of just bidding for loads of players and just seeing what lands. They put in that Nunez bid, what was it, 18 months ago. I think they're just fishing around. I mean, I know that he kind of fits the profile of what David Moyes wants in terms of...
So you think it's more here?
I don't hate the move either, but I also think he's doing just fine.
I agree. I
don't know what... I would put it here, in all honesty.
Okay. So moving of 3 centimetres.
And that means everything on the rumour mill. So
It does.
Ignore this, Mr. USA over here. That's the best I can come up with.
Mr. USA.
Yeah, cowboy.
Save that one, lad. Save that one.
Right, okay. Next up, we've got Kaoru Mitoma to City. Now, this is after they got Gavardio over the line. Rumours that this is the next guy that Pep wants. Obviously, 5 goals, 7 assists last year. I don't think that does justice to what a breakout campaign he had. This comes in from Ekrem Kunor. George, is he a trustable guy?
No.
Is that a thing? Is this a thing?
But, well, George is kind of
okay,
the Twitter mold,
cool.
isn't he? So, yeah.
I am very much I look.
What,
if there was no
clickbait?
If there was no Jack Grealish on that left-hand side, I'd actually quite love it. But for his own career, and he obviously wants to play on that left-hand side, it is clickbait. Like, it's clickbait. I mean, look, he had a fantastic year last year. He really did on that left flank. And maybe there's a way where Pep puts him on the right and that could fit in. But that doesn't feel like that's what's going to happen. He needs to play on that left-hand side. Jack Grealish is there. Phil Foden can play there. There are too many people there for him to get the minutes that he should be getting and deserving after the season he had last year.
I agree with you.
And it just feels like clickbait. And look, you think Brighton, having haggled all this money over Caicedo, are then going to willingly take whatever fee City might offer, which might be 60 million? They're going to be wanting a lot of money for him too.
Yeah, no.
I just don't think they're going to sell him.
I agree. I just think, although that said, Brighton have Simon Adingra coming through. He's been super exciting pre-season. He can play on the left. As we said, Mohamed Kudus looks like he's signing with them. I know he's more of a right-sided winger, but they have Joao Pedro who can float around.
They have a lot of attackers. They do have a lot of attackers. I do agree.
And
I do
it
agree.
fits the mould to suggest that they would be, his days in a Brighton shirt are probably numbered in many ways.
If he has the same kind of campaign he had last year, this season for Brighton, we might be talking about this kind of move next season, or maybe even in January, quite possibly. But I just think right now, it's the left side isn't an issue for City. It's the right side that they need to be looking at, and I think playing him on the right side, I'm sure he'll do a decent enough job, but it doesn't feel like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with you. The only thing I will say is he's 26 at the moment, so he'll be 27 next season. And actually, that is the age bracket which Manchester City have done business with. If you think about Mahrez, Grealish. So yeah, watch this space. For now, we don't think this is happening, or that we don't think it should happen at all. I'm with you. Now, next up, you want to go to James Ward-Prowse. This has come in from the Daily Echo that apparently Spurs are ready to make a move for the Southampton skipper. They want 40 Williams. 40 Williams.
Got him on your mind.
They can have 40 Williams for him. As a Fulham fan, I'm fuming. But yeah, the Saints want 40 million, and Spurs would be willing to get close to that if they can do a deal quickly. The Daily Echo. George has already told me off camera that this is complete hog's bollocks.
It does feel very clickbaity, but I'm not that against the move.
Yeah.
I'm not that against the move. I do think Spurs probably need to add to their midfielders. It does look like they want to shift still a lot of players. Højbjerg looks like he's out of the window as well right now. They've got Basuma obviously still there. They've got Maddison there. And a little trio of James Ward-Prowse, Maddison, Basuma.
I'm not against it.
I'm really not. And so in terms of the hate or love it, I am maybe above the line. But you are right. I mean, nailed on towards clickbait does feel more clickbaity. Things are going to happen, though. Weird things are going to happen towards the end of this window, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Where, especially maybe in Spurs' sense, where they need to go and get in these players. And say a deal happens for this guy and they suddenly get 100 million and 120 million in for him. They've got money to spend. And so I'm going to be here for now.
Wow.
For now.
It's a bit higher than I thought.
For now.
Maybe we need a Stranger Things filter over the top.
Actually, if Dominic Solanke's there for it, maybe I'm here, a little bit as low as possible without moving the clickbait side.
We actually have got a wobble feature on the board this week.
Sorry. I'm a bit heavy-handed.
No, I agree with you. I will say he's a genuine one-club player. He's only ever played for Saints 410 times, got an assist in that opening championship game.
Yeah.
So he's obviously still a huge part of that project, and the Saints will be looking to bounce straight.
That's the thing, though. Southampton will want a lot of money.
Yeah.
They want a lot of money for him. They're already trying to get a lot of money for him. If they sell him, then they don't need to sell him, essentially. And obviously, as you said, the Saints are trying to bounce back up. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Met him for an interview. Fantastic guy.
People think he's a bit one-dimensional, but he scored 11 goals 2 years running. He's a really good player.
I do question, I guess, if you're getting the set pieces at Spurs, you've got James Maddison now.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see. Anyway,
let's move on to the next one. We'll finish on that one. Let's move on to the next one. Joao Felix to Al Hilal. It's the Saudi special. We could do so
You
many.
really are enjoying this, aren't you?
Well, my day. I'll probably get binned off soon. Joao Felix. So this is coming from Fabrizio Romano. That the salty sea dog himself, Jorge Jesus, has been trying to convince Joao Felix to come to Al Hilal. I think this is more realistic than Victor Osimhen, in all honesty.
I am much more over your side here, not going to lie. Like, we spoke about him on Monday Vibes on Monday, weird enough, that right now, he's got no one after him. He's burnt his bridges there. He's gone and said, whilst being an Atletico Madrid player where he's paid a lot of money, he said, I'd love to join Barcelona.
Yeah.
The club, I've dreamt of this moment. That is ridiculous. He's obviously fell out with Simeone. I think obviously when he moved to Chelsea 6 months ago, he thought that a deal could have happened there quite possibly, and also thought that if he had returned to Atleti, there were those rumours at the time that Simeone might not be at the club anymore. He's still there. He's still the guy that's in charge, the top dog. And so he needs an out. He can get paid lots of money by going to Saudi. A loan move for a season, whilst I don't think it's necessarily ideally what he would have wanted, someone's got to pay his wages and he's got to play football. So I'm very much over this kind of side.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'd maybe just stick it right there.
Exactly what I'm thinking.
You're right. Unless he accepts a loan move to a Benfica or another one of these kind of sentimental clubs that might bring him in.
But they don't also pay him the money as well.
I don't think he's going to get a move anywhere. You're right. I'd rather see him just play football, and I don't mind if it's in Saudi Arabia, it's in Saudi Arabia. So for this one, I agree with you. Let's leave it here. I actually think he looked really good at Chelsea. I thought he was a lot better than he gets credit for. He's obviously butchered a lot of...
I don't think it'll end up at Al Hilal, but I think there'll be a last-minute loan move to a club that we wouldn't be too surprised about.
Wow. I don't know if that's some reveal.
No, not Chelsea. Not Chelsea.
Okay.
Actually, I just remember previously back at when the loan move was happening to Chelsea, Arsenal were interested in him.
I thought you were just.
I'm thinking maybe an Arsenal move. If they don't get him this right winger who they want to, I know he's obviously played off the left, but if they don't get him this guy that can play in the right wing for them, maybe there's.
Well, and Nkunku's injured, so maybe there is room for another player.
I remember saying actually, if Chelsea sold Mason Mount, they'll buy Felix, but they're not going to accept 50 million at Atleti, so we'll see.
Well, watch this space. Let's finish on Chelsea itself, because finally it's about time that we included this one in transfer talk. It's Moises Caicedo to Chelsea. It's the dullest story of the rumour mill so far. Where's it going, Zach? Wow. That is as far as you can go.
No, look. So right now it seems like Moises has basically done everything he can to leave the club.
Yeah, he has.
He's not turned up to training. He's refused to play in their pre-season training. And Brighton have asked basically for Chelsea to bid more than the 80 million that they've bidded.
Yeah.
And it feels like that's what Chelsea are going to do. It feels like Chelsea eventually. I don't think it's going to reach 100 million. I don't think it's going to reach 100 million. Is it still too I think, I know he's had a fantastic season. I still think he's a 65 million, it should have been about a 65 million pound transfer. Obviously, Brighton know they're unbelievable sellers. They know that they can try and drive the price. They've seen Chelsea spend 100 million on Enzo. They've seen Rice just move for 100 million. They know they can easily go, look, we've seen all this happen, give us 100 million. And so, it is a lot of money, but it feels right now, it feels nailed on, and it's probably the best player Chelsea could buy for that position for the next 10 years.
You know what? Given how much you've plundered Brighton, in recent years, and now just got the goalie as well, Sanchez.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying seeing them basically give you the
and they have every right to. I've seen Chelsea fans get really annoyed over this, and it's like, hang on a minute. They convinced Caicedo to sign this contract. Obviously, there was no release clause in it, because I remember in January thinking, well, if he's signing this, there must be a release clause or a guarantee of him leaving for a certain price, aka a release clause. But Brighton have every single right to try and get as much money for him. I don't think Chelsea fans should feel, I see it on Twitter all the time. They're absolutely livid at Brighton for it, keeping him there beyond his wishes. They've got him. They spent the money. They were able to develop him. It's not their fault that people don't want to pay the price that they want.
Just quickly, one more thing on Caicedo. We did a short, which a lot of you guys have watched so far, about 3 alternatives if they don't go for him. 2 included Florentino Luis and Ezequiel Palacios, who plays at Bayer Leverkusen, who would all be both cheaper than Caicedo. Are you still pay the money for him, get it over the line, or would you go for an alternative, do you think, at this point?
I think, there's a bit more of a guarantee with Caicedo. We saw what he was like last year in the Premier League. It feels like he would fit into that role really, really well. So, look, if Chelsea are willing to spend about 85 million, 90 million, then do it. They also seem like they're going to be bringing in Tyler Adams, which I'm a fan of as well, for 25 million.
Nice.
And so yeah, like I do love it, and I feel like it's nailed on.
Nice, completely agree with you. All right, we might call this Caicedo's Corner from now on.
Fine by me. Fine by me.
Yeah, and Henderson Hell over here. That's what I'm calling that one. All right, that is the rumour mill, and it is getting full. It's getting full.
It is.
And there will be more magnets next week. Fingers crossed.
Still got what, 6 weeks left?
Just quickly, is there anything else you want to adjust? Or are you satisfied with the rumour mill as we see it right now?
I'm happy. Let us know what you guys think though in the comments below of this rumour mill. Where would you have placed certain people? And we'll have a look at this for the next episode as well.
I thought you were stealing my job there for a second.
Never. Go on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's it for another week of Transfer Talk. Let us know, as Zach said. And yeah, have a great week, subscribe and all that, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.